ZvZ, Legacy of the Void. I'm thinking about the third base, and what it means to have the third base. Okay. We'll view both players with the Units tab open. Start them. Hello, sir. Good luck, have fun. That's so mannered. Both players begin with an Overlord. Not really super noteworthy. Both go hatch first. No edge there. Exactly the same opener. Gas is taken a tad later than me, and then a pool. Not really enough that it would influence much at all in the course of the game. So basically both players are starting off at even footing with the same builds. Pretty even on drones. I have 1 to 2 more drones here. Okay, this is where things start to deviate. So Startham starts making lings here, which I scout with my lings, which is good to know. And I have an earlier third base. So since I took multiple edges, I took more drones, and I took an earlier third, and I'm making more queens. I can't defend all of that. Usually in ZvZ, if one player is too greedy and they take too many economic edges, they're gonna take some damage. So here, I take damage of having my third base denied, while Startham is droning and potentially taking his own third base. One thing that you could say is maybe questionable, the Evo and Extractor, it's very committed to damage with the Roach Warren. So what is this? +1 ranged attack. This 100 gas could have been spent into Banelings, which is part of why my Baneling aggression here pays off. So I lose my third hatch, and then I swing forward with Ling Bane, and I see queens and a Roach Warren. So Star is looking to transition into a Roach game, and I'm trying to attack. Attacking up into a ramp with Ling Bane against Queen Roach is terrible. So usually you want to just kind of pull back, maybe trade well with some Lings, and try and poke up and deny this third hatch as it's building. Because I still have the edge of a faster third hatch, Star has the edge of +1 ranged attack, but doesn't have a lair. Let's think about larva. Star has 8 larvae right now. I have 5 larvae. Neither of us are supply blocked, but neither of us are really producing enough to spend our larvae. So this is a point where both players are engaged in an attack, they're kind of focused on that event, and their macro slips a little bit. That's something that we could both work on for this game. So I see the Roach, I drop my own Roach Warren, I take a lair, and I drone. So this is actually a pretty big move. This basically forced Star to go for a 2-base all-in. Because the third is delayed for so long, it wouldn't really make sense to drone this base before it's like less than halfway done. So he's going to opt to kind of leverage that edge of ranged attack and apply lots of roaches of value with more gas. So the gas income, let's look at it. Yeah, he has more than double my gas income right now. But I have more workers. Since I have more workers but less gas, I'm going to be making units that don't cost very much gas. So queens fit that role. And queens are really, really good against Lings without upgrades and against Banes, and they gain value over time if you keep them alive. So even though queens deal almost no damage to roaches, they're going to be basically giving me roaches of value with the transfuses. It would be really cool if, like for your queens, it had a kill count, but it also had a healing meter, where you could see how much a queen has healed with transfuse over the course of the game. Someone email David Kim. That would be awesome. So Defender's Advantage means that I'm closer to my reinforcements. Spine Crawlers are really strong against units without upgrades, but he does have +1 attack. So Roach for Roach, Star is going to be trading better. The problem is, he doesn't have Roach speed. And without Roach speed, these new Roaches are really slow moving across the map. So I have lots of time to make my own units and defend on creep. So I'm basically pulling all of my queens and making new queens and using them in my army. Still 46 workers at 38. It's a very, very big commitment, and the third is only being used for larvae. Yep. Not quite saturated on the 2 bases. This is a scenario where I have weaker units that aren't quite as powerful, they're not quite as upgraded, but they're faster and they're greater in number. I can just produce more than start. And on my side of the map, I'll be winning the engagements because I have new roaches coming out constantly. Something I could do to improve the queens moving on the map would be to kind of preempt the queens moving forward by moving these overlords and putting them all around this area and just have them drop creep, and then the queens could lay some tumors. Queens are decent fighting units all around, and if they have creep under them, they're going to be moving around and be able to attack more easily. Like, look at this queen back here. She's just kind of waddling, not actually shooting anything. But if there was creep here, it would be very easy to scoot this whole army forward and make sure all units are participating in the fight. One thing that you should kind of look at in your engagements is whether or not all of your units are firing, because that's going to tell you how much value you're getting for the units that you put in the game. Boom. So basically, I just keep producing, and you notice the tide is gradually moving toward Star and away from me. I'm trying to keep up the unit production. Injects are slipping a little bit for both players. This is a little bit annoying with the map feature. If you have the Overlord drop creep, it doesn't register on the ground unless it's very clearly away from this particular cavern. So now Star's roach speed is done. I would really like... Oh, is he at +2? Yeah, he has +2. So it's +2 against +1. His roaches are still stronger for their value than mine are. But I still have the worker lead. I've had the worker lead pretty much the whole time. And now I have a really big gas bank. So, looking at my money right now, I kind of looked over at it and I was like, wow, I have tons of gas. What can I do with this gas? I don't have a Hydroden. I don't have an infestation pit. I only have 1 Evo. So, the logical choice is going to be Ravagers. I got supply blocked here at 138 supply. That's a little bit of a slip up. But if you think about Roach Ravager, and why it's stronger than pure Roach, one of the reasons is the Corrosive Bile. That's the first obvious reason. 60 damage nuke, which is pretty powerful, but it's a slow projectile. The other reason is the range of the unit. So, Ravagers are 6 range, Roaches are 4 range. So if you think about having kind of a line of units, that line can be deeper, and Ravagers can still be participating in the fight. They shoot for the same amount of damage, I believe. Yeah, exact same amount of damage per shot. Weapon speed is a little bit faster. So they're higher DPS, slightly, and they're higher range. So you can have kind of a bigger ball of stuff that's active in a fight in a tighter area. So while this area is fairly tight, it doesn't really matter because I have units so far back that will be able to participate. So I'm basically pushing into an opponent with worse upgrades, but more army value and a better composition for the win.